that's from what I can see. I'm not a parent, but that's like the scary part of a parent, right? Is you could be the most prepared parent in the world and tell your children, don't do this, or you need to do this, or blah blah blah, or A, B, and C. But at the end of the day, they're their own person, and then I could imagine you can only hope and pray that once you've showed them the ropes or the rules of society, whatever the case may be, that they take that and they do something beneficial with it.
Right.
Because, like you said, you could be, I'm going to get my kid in a headlock and he's, you're going to like that girl.
I did say that.
Yes, you did. And that's fine. Or, you're going to study this in college or whatever but in the end, unless you do that and they follow you to the T, that's the nerve. That's why I have not become a parent. That and the fact that, no one's wanted to parent with me. For me, that's a scary part because one, you got to raise a child, and then once you raise them, it's out of your control. It's up to them to be a productive person. And another scary thing too, I realized this is I can parent my child. I can't parent everyone else's child, which is other sources of information to your child.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell your child, hey, walk the line, but then if they have a best friend, I mean, we've been there, DT. Me and him have probably done things together that, our parents said don't do, and DT or me have been like, come on, dog, we don't gotta listen to that. Let's do this. Right? And so an outside influence can influence your child, and you have no control over that.
Yeah.
Sure.
For me, that is scary.
Very scary. Very scary. I think that, and that's what it comes down to. Because I was thinking, as you were saying, you put your child in a what'd you say?
Headlock.
Headlock, yeah.
Get him.
Or you could tell them you're going to go to college and do this and that. But at the end of the day, if they do listen, if they do all of these things, what's going to happen, once they reach a certain point and realize, God, this isn't what I wanted to do. This isn't what I expected out of life. This isn't what I wanted out of life. This isn't even me. They're gonna then resent you because they're living your life. So there has to be a very fine balance, and it's tough. I mean, as a parent, it's very tough to know where that balance lies. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, David, because you almost have to understand that they are your child, but at the end of the day, you don't own them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't own this human being. Yeah. All you can do is help them to know when to make what choices. Not necessarily the right choices, because they may be wrong to me, they may be right to you, but to make choices that are going to be beneficial to them, to their growth, to their purpose, to their life. You have to understand that it's not about me making those choices for you. It's about us empowering them and giving them the tools, giving them the knowledge, the wisdom, if you will, to make the choices that are going to be beneficial to them and their lives. And that's where the balance lies in, I think.
I got you. That must be where I'm old school.
Okay.
Because I feel like I own my son.
Oh, dang.
Oh boy.
I own him.
Here we go again with the opposing.
The dichotomy. That's gonna be the term of
It's
of
just the
today,
old school way of
dichotomy.
me thinking. But listen, kid, all right? I paid a lot of money for you, okay? I'm raising you up, put a lot of time and attention and care and energy and resources. Listen, you got to listen. No, I'm obviously joking. I don't own another human being. I would never feel that way. But
to a degree, I kind of do.
Yeah.
You're my son. You're my child. Listen, okay? You got to listen to me. And I do wish, thinking about how I was raised, I do wish someone had taken the time to say something like that to me. Listen, I'm your dad. I'm your mom. This is what you should focus on. Listen, let me teach you from what I've learned and what I've experienced. No one ever said that to me.
Right.
We talked about this in another podcast, in another episode. I didn't even learn how to drive from my parents. I learned how to drive from the streets. Brooklyn, New York. The streets of Brooklyn, New York taught me how to drive because I sucked.
Wow.
I didn't know how to drive. I rented a car to get my license.
You rented a
I
car
rented a car
for the driving test?
for the driver's test.
Wow.
So
Oh,
yes, I
shit.
rented a car. I had no guidance, no preparation whatsoever, and I was so bad at it. I remember I ended up like crashing the car
Oh my gosh.
into my grandparents, the side of my grandparents' house. Luckily, the house was made of brick, so it didn't damage the house, but it did damage the car.
Yeah.
And my friends were like, "Dude, what the fuck? You're sorry for my language, but they were like, dude, you're terrible." So one of the older guys in my neighborhood was like, "Listen, I'm gonna teach you how to drive. This is what we're gonna do this weekend. We're gonna take this rental car. We're gonna go out to Manhattan. We're gonna go out to the Bronx. We're gonna do all these things. We're gonna drive. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get on the highway. You're gonna do all these things until it's a trial by fire." And I eventually learned how to drive. I know, it was terrible. Dude, I was that guy on the highway going like 35 miles per hour where the speed limit is like 60. Cars were going by me.
In
Like,
New York, yeah.
In New York. In New York. Here I am doing like 35, 40. Cars are going, and I got girls in the backseat. Like, I'm hanging out with one of the older dudes. So, we're trying to like impress girls, whatever it is. And I got this vehicle, and I'm the slow driver on the highway. And I remember them making comments like, "Why is he driving so slow?" I was like, "I don't know what the hell I'm doing." Anyway, so eventually I learned how to drive.
You were learning how to drive and pick up girls all in the
all at
same.
because
Jesus, dude.
no one. It was Brooklyn. Like no one had a car. We were all broke. So the fact that I rented a car for the weekend, guess what we're doing with that car for the weekend? We're going to clubs. We're picking up girls. We're like doing all this stuff. So here I am,
learning to drive.
as I'm learning how to drive. So it was a trial by fire. I figured it out. I got my license, but the thing is, like, I had zero guidance. Like, the streets taught me how to drive. My son's not gonna have to experience that.
Right.
I guarantee you right now. Like, I'm gonna teach him how to drive. And if he's like, "Oh, Dad, I don't want to," listen, you're doing it. Let's do it. Let's get it done. You're gonna learn how to drive. And
That's
then-
awesome.
Dude, kids nowadays are, from what I'm hearing, are waiting longer and longer to get a license. And it baffles my mind because for me, when I got it was, you could get a learner's permit at 14 or 15.
Mhm.
And you had to have it for a year.
Mhm.
And then you could get your driver's license at 16.
Yep.
And even if you didn't have a car, it was like a staple that you had a license and you could drive. But I'm hearing kids now, they're going 16, 17, 18 years old and don't even have a license yet.
Right.
And I'm like, that is so foreign to me.
Mhm.
My 15-year-old is that way. He's like, I don't want to drive. I'm like, I
Are you
mean, honestly, like I'm not mad at that because, like, are you really to drive at the age?
Yeah.
ready
If you're
to
not
drive at
ready,
the
you're
age
not
of
ready.
15? Like, even at 15, I'm thinking to myself, to how I was at the age of 15.
True.
Was I ready to drive at the age of 15?
That's a good perspective.
You drove
Like,
with me at the age of 15.
You know,
was,
like,
I, was I a good driver?
Some of the choices you make at the age of 15 are not the wisest, So to
Of
put a
course.
whole vehicle into the hands of a 15-year-old, I don't know. I'm not mad at it. I feel like when you're ready, you're ready.
Mhm.
I think too, just because I was raised by me being 37, that can put you, give you a time frame of when I was 15 and when my mom was. So my mom was born in 47. I say all that just to give you a time frame, a mental time frame, right? Like mentality wise. I had to get one. And it was weird because when I first got it, it wasn't like, cool, I can drive. It was, John, you need to get a driver's license in case, if something because I was raised by a single mom. So it was, John, you need to get one in case something happens to me. You need to be able to drive me, or, you just need to be, it was a necessity.
Right.
It wasn't a luxury.
It was like your responsibility.
Right. So driving at that age for me was a responsibility, something I had to learn to take care of, quote unquote, the family.
Sure.
Ouch.
And
Yeah.
that makes sense. It depends on where you are, right? So if if you're in Brooklyn, New York, you don't need your license at 16.
Right.
Right.
Public transportation, there are ways to get around in the city. You know, dude, I remember when I was in junior high school, you know, age, what, 12, 13, I had to travel like an hour every day to get to school. But I wasn't walking an hour. I'm not that guy who's like, oh, I used to walk an hour uphill every day barefoot. No,
In the snow.
Right. No, I used to take public transportation. I walked to what they called a dollar cab, and I take the dollar cab.
I've always wanted to go on one
The
of
dollar
those.
cab, yeah. So I'm sure it's not $1 anymore. It's probably like fucking $7 with inflation nowadays. But it used to be $1. You
And
take
it just traveled up one street.
yeah.
right?
So it was like a van that traveled up and down one street. So kind of like a bus, but they were like, screw the buses. Give us $1 instead of $1.25, and we'll take you up the same route, right? So it was a van. You hop in the van, you get out whenever you needed to get out. I used to get out at the Utica Avenue train station. I take the 4 train from Utica all the way to downtown. What was it? I forget the stop, but downtown Brooklyn. And then I used to walk another like 15, 20 minutes to school. And I did this every day back and forth.
What age?
I was like 12, 13. I wasn't even in high school yet. I was junior high school.
God, so we are totally different because me as a grown adult, I still have not taken a bus
Yeah.
anywhere
Yeah.
by myself. I think there was a time where me and my mom we were on hard times and she lost the car, and to get to the grocery store we had to take the bus. I remember being on a bus, but yeah, I've never actually had to go on a bus by myself.
Yeah.
At 37 years old, never used the bus by
You
myself.
should go do it just for the heck of it, man. Let's go ride a bus like
Get
on
on
your
the
day
bus.
off.
Go from Clearwater to
It's not
Tampa.
like I've never what is this bus you speak of?
Yeah.
I've
You'd be like,
been
yo,
on a-
watch you like love it. You're like, man, this is incredible, dude.
Why even drive my car, bro? Like,
Honestly,
man, if I can figure out how to get to work, I'll do it every day.
they used to have like a all day bus pass for like $2.50. You know, because I used to ride the bus around, like, to get to football practice and my jobs and all that stuff.
Yeah, that was back in 1994.
Yeah. That's when at Rocky Point it was like to play 9 holes. It was like $2.50 as well.
Are you
I
calling?
remember
Are you
that.
calling him old? Aren't you older than him?
He's got like 1 year on me.
Okay. All
too.
right.
I'm just trying to, keep the young bucks perspective. Right?
Yeah, but depending on where you live, you can get away with not driving. Like I got friends in New York who I might have friends who have never gotten their license.
Right.
Like,
Don't have a
especially-
I can see not
Yes.
having a car, but never had a license.
I think I have friends in New York who have never gotten their license. You can live in a town like New York. You can live in a city like Boston and never need a
Yo,
license.
speaking of that though, with Tampa
Absolutely.
growing the way that it is, like, what is our public transportation system? 'Cause I know it was trash
Shit, it
when I
still
was
is.
It's growing up. Is it still trash?
Sure, it's still trash.
So that's not good though, because like, we're growing like tremendously. Like, we really need to fix that.
But people are reactive instead of proactive. So we're gonna grow to the size, quote unquote size of a New York City, and then it's probably once we get to that size, it's gonna take a year or two before they decide to invest in infrastructure like more buses and or.
Well, we had that.
We're never gonna have a subway though. That's the
yeah.
thing.
True.
Like,
Yeah.
so we're gonna have buses, and then buses are gonna be beholden to the traffic.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Subways circumvent the traffic. That's why they're so effective.
Right.
They go underneath or over the traffic. Screw the traffic. Like, subways are great. But buses, they are part of the traffic. And if the traffic sucks, which it does suck in Tampa, in Clearwater, it's the worst.
Do you think that high-speed railroad that Rick Scott denied would have been beneficial at this point?
Is that from Tampa to Orlando, or is that?
No, because it's only to. I don't think there was very many stops.
Okay.
It was literally from Miami to Tampa to Orlando,
Right.
Okay.
and then
Okay.
Orlando to maybe somewhere else. It's not like a New York
Yeah.
or a Boston train where there's
Okay.
stops. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and there's like branches. Like, you look at a subway system in like New York, Boston, or DC. It branches out and it's underneath everything else. Like, it just flows. You know what I'm saying? So we could never have that here in Florida because you can't even build a basement here. Like,
No.
trying to build something underground in Florida, good luck.
Sinkholes.
Yeah, sinkholes, collapses. Like, it's not conducive to that sort of thing. So I don't think Tampa, Orlando, Miami, I don't think any part of Florida is ever going to have the public transportation that other major cities or states with major cities have. It's just impossible.
I
to
think
do.
we would have to, in this I think we'd have to utilize what we have around us, and what do we have around us? Water, right? Like, I know
Or like,
the water taxi down in downtown Tampa. I've never used it, but I mean, I've seen the route that it goes, and if you're savvy enough to
it is.
be able to,
we can jump on right by your house too, because it goes by Lowry Park.
dude, I
Yo,
didn't even
man,
know-
we're tripping. We need to go ahead and do
I
that.
didn't even know that. So
Really?
yes, it goes.
Yeah,
up
it has
the
a
river.
water taxi stop right there, but I
Yes.
don't know how often it comes.
It goes up the river,
We should do that.
and then
We'll be
it-
waiting there all day. Like, when is this thing coming?
So can you imagine? So there's actually a water transportation from my house that will take us from the river all the way to downtown Tampa, to Davis Island, all that stuff.
No
right?
way.
Amazing.
Yo,
Yeah.
John's house is like amazing. That location
It's a
is
good
just
location,
incredible.
dude.
Like,
Hold
he
on to
nailed
that
it.
property
Yo, he
forever.
nailed it, bro. Like that
Yeah.
that spot is like so dope, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
you got everything. You got like everything you need right there, dude.
I mean, yeah,
Like, I think you haven't had the chance to like really
enjoy it.
it. So like if you like once you unplug, like you would see like it's really like a dope spot, bro. And you're like right by Lowry Park. You could like literally walk over to Lowry Park. You jump on the interstate if you need to go anywhere you need to go. It's like right
Yeah.
there.
I'm 1 block
Yeah.
from 275.
Yeah, dude. Like downtown, like it's 10 minutes away.
Great restaurants, great
Yeah.
bars, great.
And it's gonna get better. Like I really think that's another issue in Tampa, like especially like in the Sparkman Wharf area. There's not a lot of great restaurants. They're like okay, like I haven't seen anything that's like just amazing. I've tried like all of them, and like they're not like amazing. They're like average,
So no,
and they're really overpriced. They're like super expensive.
well, yeah, because the Sparksman's Wharf. So note for anyone who's listening to this, just a little caveat: David is a bit of a foodie. Just
yeah.
so you know, when
he's a food snob over here.
when
this
he
guy.
when he Googles,
4.9 stars.
yes,
Yeah.
that is him. So take anything he says food wise with a grain of salt, because he'll Google restaurants and will not go to anything that is not 4.9.
Well, do we take it with a grain of salt or do we take it for gospel? Because this man knows what's up. He's like 4.9. I'm not eating anything below.
I took you to Mechanitas, man.
Yeah,
You was like, yo, this
fantastic.
dude knows what he's talking
Right.
about.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I,
I mean,
know,
it's-
I know. I know the gyms.
Dude, it's easy to to say I have good taste when I eat 5-star restaurants, which is good that you know what 5-star tastes like.
Yeah.
But the goal is, can you taste? What about the mom and pops?
Well, there's some good mom and pop shops.
I
as
know,
well.
but if they're not on the Googs at like 4.9, you're always
That's why you
missing
got to
something.
leave a review, man. That's what I do. Like everywhere I go, I leave a Google review.
This guy,
And I tell them like all about it.
There it is.
And I
he truly
don't
does. He
really,
leaves,
I
like,
really
a
don't
paragraph.
post like when it's bad.
Mhm.
I only post when it's good because I don't want to trash anybody.
Yeah, why ruin the
But I
reputation?
post when it's good, man. I let everybody know.
Cool.
Have to.
There it is.
Yeah, definitely, man. But yeah, there's some good restaurants around there. But I think there could be better. Like we need.
Oh, Sparkman's Wharf.
Well, yeah, there's Sparkman's Wharf. Even the other one, Armature. Like it's like okay. Like nothing down there like knocks my socks off, man. Like it's like okay.
Dude, that is ultra trend. So you can get away with lackluster food.
Yeah.
You combined it with ultra trendy.
Location.
Yeah.
So
the
for the-
location is really where if you got a great location, you can have lackluster food,
So
which
for the
shouldn't be that way.
So for content
So-
for the people out there, Armature Works is a part of downtown Tampa that they converted. They made it look nice, right on the river, Hillsborough River,
Yep.
and they took an old abandoned warehouse, redid it, put a bunch of
That's nice.
restaurants
Yeah.
on the
Vibe.
bottom floor, and then the adjacent building or the connecting building they made condos.
Okay.
Yeah, living quarters and business. You can rent out business conference rooms and stuff. So it's a very like up and coming place. They also do, if you guys haven't gone, since I know drive-in movies are a thing of the past now. They just closed the last one in Tampa, Funland,
Yeah.
which is sad because that was a staple for me. I used to take first dates there all the time. It's surprising how many women have not been to a drive-in movie. And then when they go, they're like, I can bring my own food and my own drink. And you're like, yeah. So, but anyway,
Wait, do they say that or do you say that?
no, they say that. That's why I bring them, because I'm like, They're like, I'm like, hey, we're gonna go see. Oh, back in the day, I was like, we're gonna go see a movie. Oh, it's a drive-in. Oh, all right. Well, what do you? We're gonna go. What's your favorite restaurant? Blah blah blah. Okay, let's pick that up. We can bring our own food in. Oh yeah. Oh, you want to drink some wine? Go grab that bottle. We can bring. Oh yeah, it was 100%.
John says that. He's one of the cheapest guys I know. Okay.
John just brings his dates to the most economical venues.
There it is. Yeah.
As a single male that did not make a lot of money at the time.
Mm.
But anyway, no.
And he's killing it now.
Yes, he is.
Back to armature work. So they also have their own version
Like-
of a drive-in movie every so often. It's like a movie on the field. There's like a clear
Yeah.
field that they project a movie on a big
Oh,
screen.
wow.
So
That
Yeah.
sounds cool.
shout out to him. I'm not sure why I was explaining all that, but I
No,
just did.
Yeah, that's all right. Thank you, though, man. Thank you for
I
that.
should be a tour guide.
There it is.
I went down to, when I was in Tarpon, I went to Rusty Belly's, which is like a signature spot, man. I love that joint.
I think I've been there.
So
I think
good,
I've
man.
been there.
Yeah, I had the mussels. I had some buffalo shrimp, and then I had
Fan of mussels. How do you feel about oysters?
I love them. I love oysters Rockefeller. I've actually been like craving it, but I can't. Like the only place I know to go and like get pretty good oysters Rockefeller is at the Oyster Bar in St. Pete.
So what is oyster Rockefeller? That sounds impressive.
It has like cheese and spinach on it, and like
So you're eating everything. So you're tasting everything but the oyster.
Pretty
so
much.
It sounds like
Yeah.
to me
It's
you hate oyster.
and it's fried. I think it's like
covering
fried,
it up.
right?
Thank
Baked-
you for
baked-
saying.
it's
Thank you
baked.
for saying that, John.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
that
yeah.
sounds like.
Well,
to
also
me.
that oyster bar has raw oysters that you can get for like a $1 an oyster from 3 to 6 every
I'm
day.
not eating dollar oysters,
day.
but
Every day.
I do enjoy oysters. You know,
Well, how do you enjoy your oyster there?
raw with maybe a little bit of hot sauce or a tiny bit of cocktail sauce, something like that. Yeah, right out of the shell.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Do you shuck it yourself, or is it already shucked?
No, you can, they give you the little fork there. You can kind of like separate it yourself. Yeah, I like the full experience. I think it's delicious. It's fantastic.
I was at the Rusty Belly's and I ordered like I looked on the menu because now I don't drink, so like I always try to find some like good juice or like
You have
something
chocolate
tasty.
milk.
I love chocolate milk.
I know you do.
know
That's
that.
why I asked you.
So I look for
You
all
have
these
a
little
chocolate
treats like a
milk.
child. Like when I go out, man, like I'm always like just looking like the dessert, the starter, like all that.
Yeah.
But what is the I ordered a Shirley Temple.
Okay.
Which they kind of do it like really nice over there.
I know
And,
that's
like, in this-
non-alcoholic, but what is a Shirley Temple?
What is it like?
Sprite?
Sprite and
cherry,
cherry.
yeah, cherry something.
So grenadine. So
Sprite.
Sprite and grenadine.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Cherry
it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Sprite and grenadine. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that's it. But anyways, when I ordered it, this lady, like this older
well,
lady,
I didn't get that look on camera, John. Do it again.
See, that's how the lady looked at me.
No.
This is how the lady looked at me.
Look at me. So Sprite.
Sprite and grenadine.
Perfect. Nailed it.
So that's how this lady looked at me. She's like, "You're a little." She's like, "You're kind of big to be ordering like a
You're
Shirley
big to be
Temple,
ordering.
man." And I was like, "Yo, I don't drink anymore." So I mean, I don't care, bro. I'm like, whatever, dude. Like, I mean,
That is funny.
but then that opened up conversation, and then we started like just like chatting it up. She was an older lady, like 50s, 60s, and she was like she had some friends that were in town, older couple, and they were from California. And then we started talking, and then I plugged like Better Gents. And like, man, yo, they got so excited. Like
Nice.
all of them, the older couples, man, they were like, yo, that's what we need. Like I was telling them that like it's about like male growth and transparency and all that. And they're like, man, that's awesome. And every time I tell somebody about what we do, man, they get excited. Like I've been handing out cards like crazy, man.
That's awesome,
Getting
dude.
people to follow
Amazing.
us. Like I'm like everywhere I go, man. Like it's just like I see an opportunity to plug, and boom, I do it, man.
Very
And,
cool.
like, it's pretty dope, man. Like and people love it. So like I'm hoping that more and more people just keep like tuning in, man. I really think that we have something good, man.
I think
Yeah.
we do. I think we got something special. It's good to hear though that you're getting positive responses from it. So am I. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the analytics, the statistics, and we are growing.
Definitely.
Yeah, we're getting new subscribers, new followers all the time, and
Just gotta
and
keep
more
creating.
views. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really from my perspective, from a female perspective, I think it's really dope and just beautiful, and it shows the type of gentleman that you all are.
Are striving to be.
Striving to be.
Striving to be,
Striving
right?
to be,
Continuing to strive to be, because, you know, being in this vulnerable space where we can speak about our emotions, feelings, things that we don't normally talk about on a daily basis for the purpose of growth is really beautiful, guys. So this is a really dope thing
Thank
that you
you,
all
man.
are doing here. I really admire all of you for being, you know, in this place and wanting to be vulnerable. It's beautiful to watch
Very
and
cool.
see, honestly.
Thank you,
It
man.
is.
Yeah.
Really
It is.
appreciate that, man. And I just love that, you know, women are joining us and coming on and speaking, and like,
It's very
you know,
important.
like, because this is how we're gonna grow. Like, we need to listen, you know. And I, just to touch on what y'all were saying earlier, I've been holding off, but you know,
You
is
wrote
it,
16 different pages.
yeah,
there. I've seen
is it?
that.
But is it safe to
He's about
say?
to let it go.
Is it safe to say that children don't listen? Is it safe to say?
To a point,
To
yes.
a certain degree, yes.
Yes,
Okay, so-
100%.
So if they don't listen, then what do?
They react.
They observe.
Observe.
So they observe everything that we do.
Mm.
So like you're asking, what is the answer? Like, how do we get our children to listen? Like, they're really not going to listen. Like you're saying it, and that those little seeds, they're going to stay back there, and they're going to water them when the time's right, or when something clicks. But for the most part, they're watching your actions, and that's what we grew up doing. We were
Right.
watching our parents' actions. If you had no father, or you had no guidance, then there's nothing to watch, right?
Right.
There's no guidance, you know. So really, if you really want to make change, it's not really what you say, it's what you do.
Right.
So that's what they say, like, you know, preach the gospel, use words when necessary. And how do you guide correctly? You fill yourself up with wisdom.
Mhm.
Now, if you have wisdom inside of you, you transfer that into your child, and now your child's a little wise man walking around, and he's a leader. He's a natural leader because he's wise. So it's all about wisdom, and there's no, you're not going to get wisdom, the type of wisdom anywhere else that the Bible provides. You know, like there's nowhere else you can go. Like, all the wisdom's inside of there. Like, all the stories, like when I read them, I see them happening in my life. So like, it goes back to my original point, which brings all this together right now, because Paula, when I went and spoke for the first time, when she gave me an opportunity to speak at Coffee Speaks and Tea Talks, she asked me to speak on love.
Mhm.
So when I prayed and I came up with love, I could share 3 poems. There was 3 poets that night, and we all had to share our perspective on love.
Yeah.
So the 3 poems that I shared, one of them was about speaking life into our children, right? One of them is about like walking in purpose, and like, you know, letting go of the, you know, the old stuff, and like moving forward, and, you know, and doing what you love. And then the last one that I shared was about God's love. And when I prayed, that's what he revealed to me, is like, you know, and, you know, there's so many other things. We've spoke about it on this show before, is the Holy Trinity, man. It's perfect love.
Yes.
You know, if I love the Father with all my heart, then my son will too. And now he's walking around, and he's making good choices. You know, he's traveling around with that spirit activated inside of him.
Mhm.
And when he doesn't know what he's doing, he goes to that book, and he deciphers what he needs to do. Because like we just spoke about it, it's not that they need to be told what to do, they just need to be guided. So you just got to guide them to the manual. You got to guide them to have a relationship with God. Because the other thing is, he doesn't just want you to read that book. Like, just imagine, like, if you're a parent, bro, like, and you wrote this book for your child to read when you're not here, right?
Yeah.
But he's just reading that book, and then he has no relationship with you. What would you prefer? Would you rather him have a relationship with you, or would you rather him just pick up that book and read it?
Relationship.
That's a good question. I'm gonna say relationship. Yeah.
And that's what he so mainly he wants a relationship with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has a manual right there to guide you.
Sure.
But to get that to get to that book, you're gonna want to have a relationship with him.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. You can catch all of our episodes on YouTube and Spotify at Better Gents Podcast, and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Better Gents Pod. Thank you and take care.